All right. Good morning, indeed, everybody. Welcome in. It is House Edge Live. It's John from Casino Gaming Central. Here we go on a Wednesday. It's Hump Day. Let's get her done, huh? What do y'all think so far about the new format? By the way, I know for the last month I've been kind of jumping around. I think I've settled in on where I want to be. Just trying to find flow. So let me know what you think. Thumbs up, thumbs down, comments, whatever's on your mind. But let me know what you think about how it's going so far. I've done 2 days of the new thing. We did Ken and Waylon's retirement plan Monday. Yesterday we did like kind of an offshoot of that with Skill and Lux Unicorn, and today we're going to do another one, more of a traditional hybrid, so to speak, and we'll look at some of the differences of it. So, but before we do, of course, let's jump in and remind ourselves, why does John get up every day at 6 a.m. and prep for a show? What is the whole thing? I'll get to that in a minute for you, Victor. Why do I do this every day? Well, I do it because of this, right? And I think we can't forget the truth, right? And the truth is the casinos, they exist to bankruptcy. That's it. They're in business to take your money. And for us as players, if we forget that you're going into a battle that it's almost like, not to get political, but it's almost like the Second Amendment argument, right? Like we have guns to save us from the tyrannical government, but the government's got nuclear weapons, right? Like ultimately you can't win that fight. And the same is with the casino, right? You can't win the fight. However, you can fight. And I think that being a fighter to me is where it's at, right? So here's the tools, right? Our bankroll, understanding how we personally view risk, identifying when we can leave, when we can lean in to something great, right? Having discipline. I think discipline's the number one thing. We talk about this all the time. Ken and Waylon have this great strategy called the retirement plan. Ken's doing a series now where Ken from Ken Knows Gambling, where he's doing, a bankroll build. I've done bankroll builds. Why do bankroll builds work when we do them on YouTube, right? Why can Ken do it? How he built up the envelopes, right? I made $100,000 live in front of you. How does that work? Because we have discipline, right? We're not out there every day going 44 inside or 64 across or whatever it is and just pedal to the gas trying to hit a home run. We don't do it that way, right? I've never seen anybody build a bankroll by putting their foot to the gas and having home runs after home run after home run. It doesn't work that way. You've got to grind it through. It's like having a job, right? Without discipline, without setting goals, with keeping your emotions out of it, you can't do that. You have no chance if you don't have at least those few things kind of in place. So that's I think the big reason why those guys, why I've done it, why other people have tried and done it with fake money, like a bunch of scammers, right? Why it works. That's why it works, right? Because it's discipline. And we show on our shows how to use discipline as, I think, the biggest tool, even more so than having big bankroll. Although today I'm going to play the big bankroll. But anyway, that's I think what you're walking into it with. So with that said, let's get going today. But first, the buzz of the morning is this. The Nexus public beta goes live tomorrow. Working on this app since last summer almost. It's I guess July, August. And now we're ready. Tomorrow, the first real beta goes out. We've had a group of people. Dr. S is part of the group, actually. He's been in our chats for a while. He's been part of the group, helping us test out, getting us, kind of to a point now where I think the two games we have, Roulette and Blackjack, are ready to go live. And the Nexus Plus piece of the app, which is all this kind of back end bankroll management stuff, it's all ready to go. So we're gonna push that out tomorrow night. There'll be an announcement out there. We'll probably do a little video where you can actually go ahead and buy it for reals and be part of the second tier beta group. And probably by April, May, we'll have craps done and it'll be a whole thing. So we're looking forward to it. I might do a little demo here coming up so you guys can see what I've been up to in the morning or in the afternoon. So let's see what else we have before I get started. Victor wants to know what happened to my table. I took it apart because, two reasons. One is I wanted to change the felt out. Two is I wanted to, we changed out the paint. So we painted my back room there where the table was. Remember it was green, the walls were green. Painted it white, put new carpet in. We carpeted the whole downstairs. So I put new carpet in and painted the wall. So I had to take the table apart to get it out of the room to put the carpet in. And I thought, this is the perfect time to get the new felt. And I went into design hell with the guys at Casino Supply to get the felt done. And it's just taken me so many months to get the approval done and the colors right and blah, blah, blah. So now it's done. It's ordered. It'll be here soon. And I'll put the table back together again. It was just literally, I took it apart to move it, to paint and put carpet in. And I just never put it back together again because of the felt. So that's why once it comes back, I'll start playing again live. I actually bought roulette felts and a roulette felt and a blackjack and a baccarat felt too. So I can flip the tables around and do not just craps, but I can put my other surface on top and deal other games. So anyway, that's all coming soon. So let's get into it here today. We're going to run this today. We're going to do a Jacob's hybrid. And so you've seen me do this before. Jacob from Wager Me This, that dude's amazing. I love that guy. And his way of playing hybrid is different than what I've shown the last couple of days. Now, the last couple of days, again, we did the retirement plan and the unicorn. Both of those are very similar in that they use the dark side, the don't come in specific, as a hedge against their place bets, right? They get a don't come set. They put a bunch of place bets out there. The don't come protects their money while they're playing for one hit, right? In Ken's case, it's one hit and down. In Waylon's case, one hit and down. In Skill and Luck's case, it's one hit, regress, and keep playing. Okay. Jacob plays it different. Jacob plays a true hybrid. And I'm going to show you the differences between those two today. We'll talk about the power of the 7 in Fact or Fiction. We'll look at betting patterns while you're doing this kind of play, which I think is interesting to explore. And I really want to talk about the clean don't. I think it's an important piece of the way that Jacob plays, and I want to make sure we spend some good time on it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it here. And we'll start out with our dig it or dog it segment. And I'm going to introduce the strategy to you here. Now, the strategy, again, it's Jacob's hybrid. All right. So what Jacob basically does is this. It's a don't pass that you'll see here in a second. And it's a big don't pass. It depends on your bankroll. And I'm going to show you his bankroll requirements for it when I bring the chips out here. But it's a big don't. You do a degraded box, what I call a degraded box. And what that means is your box numbers on the craps table, your bets on the box are less than your don't. That's an important part of it. He wants to keep the 7 strong. We'll talk about that as we're playing. You do whatever you're going to do in the box. There's lots of ways to play the box. Okay. And we'll talk through some of those in our Streak Hunter segment. But once you have the box played and the hand is over, you leverage up your wins. And above all, you keep everything clean. There's no hedging involved. And I know that when people see hybrids, they immediately think hedge. It's not really a hedge. It's playing both sides. So let's head down to the table view here and see if we can't make this make sense what I'm saying. So I'm going to slide this over a little bit and get it straight as I can. We'll bring in our chips here. And what I've got today is $5,000, which is a lot of money. Okay, it's $5,000. The reason why, I'll actually put a little lammer in there, 25 and 25. The reason why it's 5,000 is Jacob wants your don't pass bet rather to be 10% of your bankroll. So I'm going to play purple chip level. Now, one of the things I'm doing with this big level is this. I'm not going to ladder up losses. Okay. But I do want to win quickly. So one of the tenets that I believe in is winning quickly. I don't want to be here for 7 shooters to get my paycheck. I want to be 1 or 2 shooters out. So if I happen to win this don't pass, I'm done for the day, right? I don't have this desire to see the whole strategy work. If I can win $500, I'm done for the day, right? In this kind of strategy. So I may win it here. I may win it here. I may win it with a combination. And that's the hybrid play. Doesn't matter where the win comes from as long as the win comes. So it's $500 here on this don't pass bet. We'll get a point established. And then what we do is take another $500. Now, before we start that, I'm going to take $500 and put it aside. And what Jacob does is he says, here's my next don't bet is right over here. He puts it off to the side. And we're going to augment that bet here with our wins in a little bit. I'll show you how he kind of does the continuation play. It's also part of the recovery system. But here we go. 500 on the don't. We're going to put less than $500 in action up here. So if our point becomes, let's say, a 4 or a 9 or a 10, okay, we're going to go ahead and bet across. We're going to bet across for less than 500 bucks, something less than 500. Because no matter what happens, if we have a 7 come before these numbers, we're going to win some money. That's the first part of it, is keeping the don't pass strong. Then we're going to play for a little while, whatever that looks like to you, a little while. And when we're done playing, and the don't pass gets to ride the day out. Okay? Or you just play through. You have lots of options here, but let's get it going first. I'll kind of show you how it works. 500 bucks in the don't. And again, I'm going to use my Yahtzee dice. I know this is not a real craps table, but again, for demonstration purposes only. Let's see what happens and how this thing plays out. All right, here we go. I'm going to show you the thing. Let me know later on if you dig it or dog it. All right. Point's going to be a 9. The puck goes to the 9. Now, what we're going to do is bet them all. So I'll take 500 bucks out of my rack. We're going to bet them all. I need to get some, hold on a second. Let me get some greens. I should have set my table up earlier. There's reds and here's some blacks. We're not going to ever use whites on this one. Green, red, and black for payments. All right, here we go. Let's take 500 bucks, like so. And what I'll probably do here is this. We're going to take the 500. I'll take some of these as green. We'll take 200 bucks of it as greens. And let's spread the money around. Okay, there's 200 in green. There's 300 in black. All right, let's do like a $90 6 and 8. Maybe we'll do that. Let's do another 100 in green. Actually, I'll probably do 200 in green. We'll do a $75 5, a $50 10, and a $50 4. Okay, another 100 bucks. Now, what I've got out there is 75, 100. I need to get this as reds. So I can get my 6 and 8 right. So 90, 90, 180. 280 plus 75 is 280 plus 75 is how much is that? 255, right? Or 265. 275, 255, 275, 300, 500, right? So there's your spread. Less than the 500 bucks. Okay. Now again, your levels can be whatever you want to. I've got more money here that I can use for that. If I wanted to go 75, 100, right? We're going to keep some of this aside because I want the don't pass to be a little stronger than the box numbers up here. Okay. The levels up here don't matter. It'd be nice to have these at level 4. Frankly, if I wanted to go like this 120 up here, I'll show you why that might make a difference. Like so, 120, 126 and 8, 100 on the 5, 50 here, and I'll take $55 back to the rack. If we do it like this, we have some options in how we play these numbers out. The nice thing is everything up here wins us 100 bucks, at least, right? Let's roll it out and see what happens. And again, I'm not going to plug the point. We're going to play these numbers as they come, right? There's a hard 6. It pays 140. So I'll do 100, 25, 140 bucks. Okay. Now, you got lots of choices here. And what Jacob typically does is this. We're going to keep our initial money over here. The money that comes back, okay, he's going to split it over here. You'll notice that we have our next don't pass is ready to go. We're going to keep 40 bucks in profit. We're going to put 100 bucks into the next one. And you'll see why that makes a difference here in a minute. That's hit number 1. We're going to play this for 3 hits and then make a decision. Okay. We get another 6, another 140. I'm going to do 150 for 1 or for 10. 150 for 10 out of my rack. And again, this time I'll keep 100 and I'll give 50 to the next one. Just kind of playing it around, locking up 100 and some dollars, making my next don't pass bet a little bit better. Third roll, 3 doesn't matter. Fourth roll is a 9. It's the point. We get bonked. Okay. That comes off or that goes to the bank. Now that will happen to you. It is what it is. Okay. So what do we do next time? Okay. The next bet that comes out of here. And again, the don't pass being clean is what it is. We did bring back some money. Okay. But what we're going to do is put the 650 out as the next don't pass. So he knows how he built that up. And the next don't pass took some of the wins from the previous session, makes the don't pass higher. So if we catch a nice little win, the recovery is kind of built into the next bet is how we do it. He did lock up a little bit of cash. We have our old bets out here. I'm going to leave them out here. We'll move them around once the next point comes up. But we're going to also increase them. Here we go. Let's come out. It's a 4. Point's going to be a 4. And again, we're going to do an across bet because we don't have the insides. So we're going to go with the 10 being 100. Okay. And again, I've got my next don't is over here. I've got 650 here, which means I can get about $600 out here. If I look at what I've got, make these blacks. Okay. What I've got out there is $400 in bets. I can get up to 650. So what I'm going to do is increase everything. Okay. We're going to take another 100. We're going to go 125 on the 5, 150 on the 6. I'll take 150 on the 8. Now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, $525 out there against the 600 and change. So again, the trick to the Jacob hybrid is that these numbers up here have to be less in total than this one. I'm missing my 9. Let's go ahead and put 50. I'll put $100 on the 9. I think I got 100 here. Yep. Bang, bang, bang. $100 to the 9. I'm just $25 short here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 625 versus 650. We're good. As long as the 7 is better than the rest of the numbers, we're in good shape. Again, we'll take our 3 hits. We'll split our money. Here we go. 5, 175 on 125. Right. We'll put $100 to the next don't. 75 in lock. We got a 10 that pays 200. And again, we'll do the vig here. There's the $5 vig. 100 for keeps. 100 for the next time. Last one is a 9, 100. Pays 125, 140. And that's our third hit. Okay. We'll put $50 here and we'll lock a black chip up in profit. Now, what you can do at this point is stop playing up here. Let the don't pass be a thing all on its own. Hybrid play means winning up here and winning down here. It does not mean this protects this. Okay. Win in both places. Now, if you look at what we've won in total on this shooter, 2, 3, $450, $500 actually. We've almost won as much as our don't pass, right? So in this case, put that back up there. In this case, the don't pass is essentially clean. Once you've won enough up here, your don't pass is a clean bet. It's almost completely paid for by your wins, which is a beautiful thing. At this point, bring it down, right? And let the don't pass ride itself clean. Let the don't pass ride clean against the 4. If you want to throw something at the hard 4, be my guess. Maybe a $50 hard 4 makes a little bit of sense. Win $350 on a hard 4. You have 2 ways to lose $650. If the hard 4 does happen to come, this will take care of half of that, but you're already in profit because of what you did before, right? You could, if you're bored, go out there at green level, right? Take a little bit of green chip action just to keep yourself busy while you're letting that thing ride out. That's an option for you too. That does burn up some of your profits if you want to keep playing. You might even do just a 6 and an 8 to have something to do while you're really playing for the don't. Now we're going to play for the 7. Okay. And again, this is all about getting out of this hand with a guaranteed profit. And there's your 7, 527. So you lose the $60, big freaking deal, right? But your recovery plan was that big or don't. 5, 6, 50. So we get back most likely what we had lost on the first one plus where we are. Let's go take a look at the rack. I'm going to rebuild the rack. Remember, we had $700 sitting back over here. Actually, I'll put that back. $700 sitting there. Let's put the rest of the money back in place and see how close we got to being even. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's $1,000. If I put this back into the bank, I cover those up. Look where we are. There's your starting bankroll. There's 130 in what you call locked profit. Plus you have your $700 for the next round if you want to. Effectively, you are up $730 in 2 shooters. Okay. Even though you got whacked on the 9, you're still up for the 2 shooters. Why? Because you let the don't be clean. Okay. The difference between this play and what we saw the last couple days with these hedging strategies is that in the retirement plan or in the skill and luck unicorn, let me get all this colored up here. In those plays, you plug the don't pass. So we had that 9. The first shooter would have bet the 9 for $400. Follow me? That would have been a $60 win on the 9 instead of a $500 loss on that 9. There's a difference there. We let the don't get destroyed, but when the point was a 4, had we had 650 here and 400 here, we would have won $200. Instead, I won 650. That's the difference. A clean don't is a way you play a hybrid versus a hedge strategy. And I think people use those two words interchangeably. That's Jacob's way. Leveling up the next bet so that your next don't is bigger and bigger and bigger. It's a negative progression, but it's built by profit, not by your bankroll. And I think it's a different way to approach it. And that's the Jacob way of playing a hybrid. Okay? Keep the don't clean on the way out. Keep the don't clean when you're coming back home. Win in 3 rolls up here. Make your decision. Keep play, regress, turn them off, whatever you want to do. With the point of 4 over here, it's easy. Take the 6 and the 8. Let the 7 do its job. That's Jacob's hybrid. Hope you like that one. It's one of my favorite ways to play, actually. So come on back over here again. Let me go back to, hold on a second. I got to figure out how to get there. I don't have a button to get me back where I was. That's the problem. Go here. There it is. So that's it. That's Jacob's hybrid. It's a don't pass, a degraded box. What I mean by a degraded box is your box numbers are less than the total of your don't pass. So if the 7 comes, you win. No matter what, the 7 is strong for you and you win. And that really is what I want to talk about in the next segment here, which is this fact or fiction, which is going to be all about, in today's world, keeping that 7 strong, right? The 7 is the greatest of all the numbers on the craps table. And it's funny, even though you have, let's just take the inside player, right? I'm playing the 5, 6, 8, or 9 on the craps table. With those numbers, you've got half of the numbers covered, right? You got half of the combinations covered. The 7 only has 6 ways to beat you, yet we still lose all our money playing on the inside. Why is that? Because the 7 is the greatest number of all. We've talked about this many, many times. Let me go back to my table here and again, explain why. Why is the 7 so freaking strong? Because every die, no matter what that one is, this one can make a 7. Always, right? If the 5 stops first off the back wall, this other die's always got the partner for it. If the point's 4 and the first die stops on a 5, I can't make a 4. The 7's unique in that way, right? It's a very unique number, which is why it is so strong, right? That's why when you play a hybrid, you want to make sure your 7 has all the juice that it can have. And that's what Jacob's mentality has always been. And that's why I think he plays a hybrid different and better than anybody on the planet. He really does. And he's thought through it so many different ways. And this culmination, this way he plays here, to me is his best work ever. Lots of reasons why. I love that built-in recovery off that next don't bet that he's got. I love that piece of it for sure, right? But I also love that it keeps it clean the whole way through. And he understands the power of it. And remember this too. We talk about the power of the 7. Let's just say, I'm going to go back out here again. Let's just put $100 on all the numbers, just to have some easy math. Okay, we'll just do this 150 here. Keep it green. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, $600 there, and $700 on the don't. Okay, let's look at where we are here. And this is why I think, from a fact or fiction standpoint, the 7 is the strongest number. Okay, let's say a 7 rolls right now. Worst case scenario, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 600 versus 700. My net would be $100. I'd lose 6, I'd win 7, I'd still win 100. That's the point of that, right? Now, if we catch a hit on anything, let's just say that the 9, or let's say that the 8 hits for 175. Okay, 175. Now we know, I'll put it right here in front. We know that if the 7 were to roll before that, we'd win $100. Now we know if the 7 rolls now, after I've collected 175, I'm going to lose the 600 that's out there, still win the 700 that's here, but I've already won this. That makes this bet stronger. Every time I pull money off the table, this bet gets better and better and better. And heaven forbid we are able to do that 3 times. 1, 2, 3 times. Let's say we get 3 hits on the 6 or 8 before the 7, right? What does that add up to? 1, 2, 3, 400, 500 and a quarter. Okay, 525. Basically, it's that, right? Which means that we have $200 at risk. If you think about that, you brought $500 back to your rack, right? That's all safe money. If these bets were gone, guess what? This $700 is basically paid for. That's a free bet. That's a free bet on the 7. $500 of this $700 is free, paid for by your win. So when the 7 comes, you double up. Okay, that's what Jacob wants us to do when he's playing a hybrid. When he teaches hybrid play, it's all about this right here. It's not about these. These are bonus babies, right? The more of these you get, the more powerful that bet becomes, because now this bet is worth more. I brought $500 back. It's almost like you've done this. When the 7 comes, it's like an extra $500 because you brought it back over here. That's the magic of it. That's the hybrid play versus a hedge play where you take this and you go, oh, you know what? I'm going to do that and protect myself and just make that a guaranteed win. This is not a guaranteed win, but it's a much deeper win. And I think that's what Jacob's going for in the hybrid play, is a deeper win on the 7 versus a guaranteed smaller win that the hedge players are playing. So that's the difference there. And I hope that explanation of it makes a little bit of sense. And again, it's why I think very deeply that the 7 is the greatest number of all. We all know this, right? The guys who grind it out are mostly dark side players because they're playing the 7, right? They just know. My camera's a little bit janky here. What's going on? There we go. It's kind of aimed. My camera's kind of aimed wrong. What's going on? Weird. It's in a weird spot. I have one of these cameras that's like on a gooseneck, and it's weird. Anyway, by keeping the 7 strong the whole way through, you can capitalize on the strength of what is going on there. On the strength of that number. This is driving me crazy. It's freaking crooked. There we go. You can capitalize on it as it goes through. So that's, again, hybrid versus hedge. Hybrid versus hedge. The unicorn and the retirement plan play the 7 as a hedge. Jacob plays it as an attack on both sides. And I think that's, to me, one of the key differences of it. All right, let's take a look here at hunting streaks. And again, I think it's important to look at ways you can play those box numbers. And let me give you a couple of examples here as ways to play the box in this strategy. And I think Jacob has talked about when he does it, he's very much like a do what you want to do kind of approach to it, right? So how do you want to play the box? You want to do 3 same bets and call it a day, like I just showed you. You can do a tiered regression like the Dallas Drawdown. You can do an all-in play, which is super powerful. Let me show you what that looks like. I'm going to show you 2 options here for this. And again, the $500 bet size gives you some interesting options to play. So let me get my table of reset here. Let's head back down, and I'll show you what I mean by both of these things. So we'll put $500 down here in the don't. And again, let's just say that we have this 4 still set. Okay, let's just put ourselves. I'm just going to give you an example here. The 4 is set. Let's do 440 on the inside. We'll do 440 here. So actually, we'll do it like this. I'm going to do it with green chips just to make it easy. No, I'll do it blacks just so you can see it. We'll do it blacks. 440 inside. So 420 on the 6 and 8. And for grins, we'll grab the 10. Okay. So 440 here, 50 here. It's 490 versus 500. Maybe we'll make that a quarter. Let's make it a little stronger. So we have 440, 450, 460, 465 versus 500. Again, the don't on the first roll sucks, but whatever. Here's example 1 of playing these bets. Okay, and again, we're looking at streak hunting here, right? So what's the best way to play 3 rolls? Okay, again, 3 rolls is your decision here. So let's assume we get 3 inside hits. I'm just going to play this as though it were perfect, just to get an idea what you can do, right? On hit number 1, any inside number would pay you 140. Okay, there's 140 on the inside, right? What you're going to do is the Dallas Drawdown. Take them down by half, okay? And now we're going to go with 220 inside, okay? So that's going to look like green chips, 220 inside. Okay, so take them down by half. What that does for you is this. Remember, you're 440 inside. 1, 2, 325, 350, 360 is coming back. So out of your 440, we'll keep the 10 as a bonus bet. Out of your 440, 360's back. Most of it's back. You're still upside down in the box, but most of that's back. I'm going to put that over here so you can see it. Now we're going to take one more inside hit. Hit number 2. Any of these numbers in here pays $70. We'll do 75 for 5. Okay. And bring them down again. We're going to go to 110 inside. Now look at my rack. 1, 2, 3, 400, 500, and $65. So I brought back $565 from the 440 in those 3 hits, right? We took a hit at black, we took a hit at the second level. Now we're in profit, we're guaranteed profit, and here we are playing it out. Okay. The next inside hit number 3, $35, and I'm done. I bring all this back. 3 hits, I'm down. Maybe I'm playing a little 6 and 8 action. Those greens are 100. Look where we are. Again, this down here being the key. The don't pass from my profits is paid for. Right, there's my purple chip back. Right, my money's back in the rack again. Right, actually I'll put it here. There's my don't pass is clean. Okay, up top, I brought back $150 in locked profit. And I've got a clean don't pass bet. If I happen to lose this bet, I'm back where I started plus a little bit of profit. If I happen to win this bet, right, it's an extra $500 and my profit becomes $1,050 or $1,150. You follow me? Right? One way, tier it down. If you tier it down, you pay for the entire don't bet, and then the don't bet is clean. So when it wins, you're winning 2 purples, not 1. That's option 1. Okay, let's do option 2. Clean don't pass. I'm going to put this back where it was. Everything goes back. I'll take the second $500. Give me a second to reset the bets. We'll do 10 there. We'll do 2, 3, 4. Let me get my bets back set again. There's 440 in. Plus my quarter on the 10. So that $500, we're going to get back, let's see, 440, 50, 65. Okay. There we go. So I've got my $35 and change. This is 500. This is 500. This is 500. And here we go. The second way is to go the opposite direction on your 3 inside hits. Here's how that could look. First hit, 140, 125, 140. I'm going to trade this in for greens and do a 110 inside press. I might even take that and go here. Just bring $5 back to the rack, press the insides by 110. Now I've got 150 on the 6 and 8, 125 on the 5 and 9, $50 here. Anything in here pays? It pays $175. We'll do it again. $175. We're going to drop 10. I'll press my 10 by 1/4, and I'll do the inside press again by 125 or by 110. Now I got 150 on the 5 and 9. I've got 210. I'm sorry, 180 on the 6 and 8. My bad here for getting the chips jacked up. 180 here. So what do these pay? These all pay 210. That was hit number 2. Hit number 3 pays $210 on any inside number. And we come down. Again, we'll just take the 6 and 8 with the 7 and play a little 6, 7, 8 here, right? Check it out. On the felt. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That pays for what we started with up top. I've got 100, 200, 300, almost. Oh, here's the 10. I forgot. 1, 2, 3, 450, 465 coming back, right? Let's take 450, 465. By press, and taking it all down, what I pulled off the table is more than it was before with the regression. Now I'm in a position where I've basically got, aside from $35, all of my money back. Again, I'm even in my rack minus $35. For $35 investment, I've got a $500 don't and a $30 6 and 8. When the 7 does come, bam, there's my 100 or my $500. That makes it $1,000 clean don't win. Okay, so up, 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 pull it all down, or down, 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 pull it all down. Either way, you end up with $1,000 in profit on that 7. Again, keeping the 7 clean is the hybrid way of thinking. Win here and win here. And that's very hard for most people to understand that think about hybrid players that are playing for a tie. They're not playing for a tie. They're playing for both. They're playing for both. Ideally, you win here quick, let this thing be clean, and it all works out for you. If it doesn't work out for you and you're doing the build up your next bet thing, the recovery's built into it. So that's Jacob's hybrid, kind of broke all the way down. And there's, again, looking at different ways to kind of play that box. All right. So next up then for us to talk about really in the ABCs of craps is this notion of keeping that 7 strong, right? That clean don't, I think, is the most important thing, right? Again, retirement plans, unicorns, the way that Skill and Luck, the way that Ken and Waylon play the retirement plan and Skill plays his unicorn, those are more this than that, or this and that, right? It's more of a, let me get a nice big don't out there so that I can cover some numbers and then turn that shit off, right? The difference between that, right? Let me play the don't, then I can do this, then I'm done, versus Jacob's way, let me play the don't and the right side and pull it down and win on the 7. There's a lot of ands in there. We're doing this and this and this and this so that you can win early, you can win mid, and you can win late. That's the idea of the hybrid play versus hedge, 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 stop. And there's merits to both. There's merits to both ways. The retirement plan, let me go to my table view one more time, right? The retirement plan where you would have, again, using big checks, right? $500 on the 6 or on the 9, let's say, $500 to the 9, and you're playing with $100 chips across, like so, right? Again, you're a little bit, the math here is a little wrong. I'm just going fast. You're playing with 500s here and 500 here. You take your one hit for 140 and you pull your bets down and you go to 400 there, right? This is this so that I can do that move, right? You're going to take a little bit of your money back. You hedge this thing off and you guarantee yourself either $100 on the 7 or $60 on the 9 or $20, right? Forward, yeah, or sorry, $60 on the 9, right? You're guaranteeing either 100 or 60. That's hedge play, right? You hedged the numbers for one roll using a don't, and then you say, fuck the don't. I'm just going to hedge it off, guarantee some wins, and get the hell out of here, right? Lock up a win here, lock up a win here, and you're out. Versus the hybrid guy who says, look, I'm going to use this don't as a way to win on the 7 while I'm waiting for the rest of this crap to happen, right? And while this is happening, when the 7 comes, I'm going to win clean. When I'm done doing what I'm going to do, when my move is over, my 3 hits and out, clean bet on the don't. If I win that bet, that's great. If I don't win that bet, whatever, I'll restart it again. The whole point is to win 500 and 500, not to win 140 and 60. Different mindset completely. I think that's the difference between the two styles of play. And again, you can lean into whichever one of those plays you enjoy better, right? Playing the don't and the numbers and trying to win all of it versus playing the don't so that you can play the numbers for a very short period of time. It's all mindset, right? It's all how you see the game and how you want to play it. But understand the difference between a clean don't and a plugged don't, right? The plugged don't obviously slices you into a guaranteed win, but much smaller. The clean don't is a much bigger win, but of course bears all the risk. Again, just how you see the world, right? You can play hybrid aggressively. Hybrid does not necessarily mean a passive way to play. I think it's important to look at that. And like I said, I respect the hell out of Ken and Waylon and Skill for the way that they design their hedge plays, right? They're amazing. I respect the hell out of Jacob for making a way to play a hybrid and teaching clean hybrid play. And I don't think I did it justice today. I think I did an okay job. Jacob does it way better. But I wanted to highlight the differences really today for you to think about, okay, use a don't to get something done and then get out, plug it up, and I'm done, versus using a don't, playing the right side. I can win. I'm going to win money on every roll. When the way Jacob plays it, you'll win money on every roll. The 7 or the numbers all win you money. That's the way he plays it. And the more you win, the stronger the 7 gets. I think there's a little bit of beauty in that. And that's why I love it so much. So, all right, let's move ahead. Let's go into some Q&A here and see if there's anything in chat that y'all want to know about. I'm going to go ahead and press the letter Q here on I didn't get my keyboard out. Type letter Q and see what we have for questions. All right. What does Jacob do on come out losses? He just replays it. I mean, Jacob just goes back and back. He basically what he does is he's got his $500. Now he will say sometimes, don't let a shooter beat you twice. Generally speaking, when I watch his videos, he just goes right back out again. Again, the dice are what the dice are. They're going to give you a 7, whether you like it or not on the come out rolls. I don't believe that unless somebody's setting the dice for a 7 and they're that good of a shooter that they're going to be able to cause another 7. So you just take your chances at it. Yeah, with 3 or let's see, question from Ken. What does he do with 3 or 4 DP losses before he can build up the DP? Again, same thing. He just goes back out again. That's why he's got 10 of them. Like Jacob's a big believer in, again, I've got, you can see it here. This is 9. He takes 10, whatever his unit size is. Oh my God, come on there. Whatever his don't pass size is. Okay. In this case, it was $500 because it's easy for me to do on the show. $500 means 10 shots. So he takes 10 cracks at that thing working, period. So it's 10% of his gross. And this does again. He does not level up the losses, level up the bets after a loss, unless he's got the wins that kind of create that next bet a little higher. So he goes back flat on the loss. All right. JR, losers quit when they're tired. Winners quit when they've won. I love that. That's a great statement, man. So good. All right. I think that's all the cues, man. That's it. How about PCs? Any PCs that I missed? Skill says the PC, the difference between Jacob's style and what I'm showing, here and Skill is that I believe, I'm speaking as Skill, better to take only 1 hit when the don't becomes a 6 or 8, 2 when it's the 5 or 9, and 3 when it's the 4 or 10. Again, that's deeper thinking than what I was going through today, but it's important point, right? You're more likely to hit a 6 or 8 when that's the point, or a 5 or 9 than you are a 4 or 10. So you let the number decide how many hits you want to take. If you're looking at averages, the average person is going to get about 4 box numbers per roll. That's why Jacob's point has always been 3 box hits, because you're below the average of 4. And that's where the number came from. But I do like your idea, right? It almost falls in line with the don't pass spread, right? Based on the number, you take different levels of risk. Very interesting. So, yeah, very interesting. Let's see. Ken says, I know you're showing options by assuming, so 3 losses in a row. So I can run that out. I don't have time to today. I'm actually past time, but 3 losses in a row means you have to do a lot more work, obviously, right? And again, we're not leveling up the loss. So you're right, Ken. The staying power of this, and when I've watched Jacob play it, and he's gone through 6, 7, 8, 9 shooters sometimes to get there, he ends up rebuilding them a full shooter at a time. So you can lose one unit, one big unit, right? When it works, you win a unit back every time. So it takes, a full win to recover a full loss. If you lose 3, you got to win 3 in a row. And it just becomes you end up digging yourself a hole, but it seems like it works pretty good. Anyway, what else we got here? The 6 or 8. Yeah, I see your point there, Skill. Let's see. And all these ways to play are fun to explore until you get to it and find the torpedo table. You're right about that. Yeah, that's Garrison's favorite word, the torpedo table. And you'll find those ones that destroy you for sure. It's going to be what it's going to be sometimes, right? Again, the thing about the retirement plan or plays like that is that you're 1 hit and you're out and you're safe. Okay. The main difference that Ken's pointing out here in the chat, and Waylon probably is doing the same thing in his head, right? Which is, okay, when you lose, what are you going to do? You ladder up, right? Their way of thinking is to ladder up on the loss. Jacob's way of thinking is to hammer the next one, right? Two ways of thinking. One way needs bankroll. One way necessarily doesn't. I love it, Ken. I think it's great that you work in my brain. It's really important, though, because if you're going to ladder up losses, the recovery plan is built into your bankroll. If you're not going to ladder up your losses, the recovery plan is built into the strategy itself, right? The strategy itself is designed to work more than it doesn't. So your recovery plan is to win more than you lose. Follow? If your recovery plan is use more bankroll to win more money to recover previous losses, then your recovery plan is in these. It's more chips, more chances at it at bigger levels to catch it all back. It's just mindset coupled with money. And if you go back to the bridge, bankroll is key and your risk profile is key. If you don't have a relationship with risk that will allow you to go to level 5, 2,500 bucks on that don't after the 4th loss. You cannot play this way with a ladder system. And that's just facts. And Ken will tell you that every day. If you can't handle that bankroll wise or with your gut, you cannot play negative progression. You have to trust your strategy and grind it out over time. You're going to sacrifice time for money in that respect. All right. Let's get on out of here, guys. One more slide, and then I am done for the day here. Leave you with Big Lou DiRamo, the end of the acronym sandwich here, right? Stay in focus, right? Follow your plan, observe the conditions of the table, control your emotions, understand the game and the odds, stay disciplined. Notice how the bridge and being in focus both have a discipline component. That's the most important thing. Staying disciplined is the most important thing in your life, at the casino, on the table. All right, guys. Love y'all. God bless everybody. I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks again for being here. Tomorrow we're going to play some roulette, a little bit of digital roulette tomorrow. So I'll see you then. Have a great night, and love you. Bye.